Hi and welcome to the launch of DMC2. The launch might be virtual, but we're already welcoming a range of businesses into the DMC2 community. DMC2 builds on the success of DMC1. We've been open for 13 years, and in that time we've become a destination for innovators, creative people, digital people and the businesses that form our amazing community. We're far more than just a building. We're much more of a platform for people's ideas, for success, and we host a range of different projects and programmes, and that's what's brought us to this point where we can open DMC2. DMC is home to a range of projects and programmes, from exciting global accelerators such as IoT Tribe to a brand new £6 million programme that we are just launching in partnership with Capital Enterprise called Team SY, which will help us to scale up the tech sector across Sheffield City region. And that's super exciting for us. Everything that we do is about trying to make sure businesses are successful, trying to make sure people with ideas can really make good on them. We work with cities across Europe to share knowledge about how to grow creative and digital clusters, and we work with partners closer to home as well as nationally. We work with Sheffield Digital, with the universities in Sheffield, and we work with Sheffield City region who've helped to bring DMC2 to life with investment. We've seen our companies grow substantially over the last few years, and at DMC2 we've got larger office spaces to help accommodate some of that growth and to build an even bigger community. But we've also gone further. We've got a great co-working space where people can collaborate, connect and make interesting new relationships with other businesses and expertise as part of what we offer. We've got a new Maker Lab, which is going to have a range of different technologies for companies to innovate, to develop new products and services, for people to be able to fix things and to collaborate with a whole host of different people. And we're also introducing a new membership scheme so anybody from anywhere can connect with what we're doing here at the DMC. This is a really exciting time for Barnsley and possibly some of the weirdest times we've ever known. And our teams worked incredibly hard to bring all of this to life in as safe and creative a way as possible. Hopefully this event will give you a glimpse of the people, places and passion that comes to life here in the DMC and in Barnsley's digital campus, The Scene. Hope you enjoy the event, and definitely what we're here to prove is that good ideas can happen anywhere, and if you bring them to us, we'll help to make them a reality.
Hello and welcome to our fantastic new DMC, DMC2 that is, the second DMC that we've opened here in the borough. The first one's been such a great success that we've now got this extra new space, particularly for high-tech and digital businesses in the borough, proving really popular, really great, important, skilled sector for the borough and giving us some more hope and inspiration about the borough's future. So welcome to DMC2.
Well, DMC02 is, it sort of, I suppose it was a happy coincidence. We were looking at relocating and aligning more with our business structure for, you know, the invention of Industry 4.0 and how technology moves along with machinery and how they operate together. And DMC02 came up when I was looking for, you know, the premises. We were originally based up north, and it's quite a long way to sort of get to and commute, and we wanted something a little bit more central, but also aligning with businesses that were on our sort of trajectory for developing, you know, modern technologies in machinery safety. Historically, it started out over 150 years ago doing boiler inspections. And from that, they developed three main sort of splinter groups from that. So TUV isn't actually the company name. The company name follows that. So we're TÜV SÜD, which was based in, I think it started out in Bavaria, so in southern Germany. Then you've got TÜV Rheinland, TÜV Nord, which are our competitors, so we're not going to speak too much about them. But our main focus was a TIC company, test, inspection, certification. So what we look at is product branding, but ensuring it's compliant for release onto markets. And markets can be global. We're a global company. Obviously, with us being based for machinery safety, we are very much UK orientated, but we do travel about quite a bit as well. So we do support companies throughout Europe and even on a global level. Myself and my colleagues have been, you know, to Japan and America, and it's all on behalf of UK-based customers. Coming from a testing background, we've got test equipment, so we can bring that in. We could actually do a little bit of testing and training by utilising that lab space. But also if you've got a company in that are developing something and they want a little bit of testing, or we can teach them a little bit of awareness on electromagnetic compatibility. We've got equipment that we could bring in and just show you what effect powering their bit of kit or operating their bit of kit could have on the interference that it's generating. And also we've got meters in place as well, so they could do a little bit of testing for the electromagnetic fields at work, to ensure that if they want to go out and start trialling it for anyone, they're not going to actually create any issues when they do so.
At Walnut Creative we offer a wide range of services, everything from logo creation through to full-scale web design, and then ongoing marketing packages to suit that as well. So Walnut Creative is 5 years old this year, and the business started from my kitchen at home, where I guess most businesses start from. We made a really quick decision to move into the digital media centre pretty much a couple of months after we'd launched, because I wanted the separation between sort of home and work, and Digital Media Centre had an awful lot of different sort of options, support packages, different office sizes to suit sort of the scale of operation which I'd actually started at that time. So moving into Digital Media Centre originally gave us the flexibility we needed as a new business, and also gave us a really big support package which was available through Launchpad and Barnsley Council. We still use services through Barnsley and Sheffield City region now, and that's been a really big support for us as we've grown over the years. It was a really interesting proposition for us to move to Digital Media Centre too, because we saw the technology that brought for the business, a real step forward for us as a team, and it also gives a really large and creative space to grow for the future as well.
Hi everybody, welcome to our panel on digital economies in small and medium-sized towns and cities. We've got some amazing panellists joining us today to discuss how Barnsley can learn from other small and medium-sized towns and cities to grow its own digital economy. So over the next 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to be exploring some of the challenges that small and medium-sized towns and cities might face when growing a digital economy, maybe looking at some examples of solutions that have been tested across Europe, thinking about what SMEs and entrepreneurs really need within a digital economy, and thinking about also whether or not there are any advantages that places like Barnsley might have from having quite strong traditional industries, whether or not that might actually enable them to have some advantages in the digital economy development. And finally, considering the role of inclusion and how a digital economy can actually be inclusive, make sure that all citizens and businesses can participate. So I'm going to start by coming to Tim. And Tim, can you tell us what you think are the biggest challenges for smaller places like Barnsley to overcome when they're trying to grow a digital economy?
Well, I think, I mean, not distinct to the digital agenda. I think that still the biggest problem for places like Barnsley is breaking that idea that cities are the place where the economy is driven. There is still that idea, and I guess in the COVID environment that's changing a little bit, but that idea that a geographical mass is required for any sort of real economic drive, and cities aren't necessarily the place. You know, we are still fighting that battle that you know, that the forefront of the digital economy is everywhere, so can be anywhere. I think in terms of the specifics, we are always in a position where we're trying to bridge that gap between the public sector and the private sector, and that's always challenging. And when you get into smaller places, that that becomes a much more intimate, shall we say, disagreement. And so both sides have got to work very hard to understand each other and to create that environment. And I think finally, and I think this is where Barnsley's got the specific advantage. This is not what local government does. We tend to run public services and social care and bins and the environment and stuff like that. So what you really need is the will and the resources to want to create the environment, to want to be that sort of digital hub. And we did that with DMC, and we're hopefully going to continue to do that with DMC too.
Great, thanks, Tim. So I think what you're saying is that if there are challenges, and maybe in today's COVID environment, those challenges are smaller and fewer, but actually if you have the ambition and the aspiration, it's possible to overcome those challenges. So maybe we could come now to Tommy. And Tommy, could you see if through your work, have you come across any really interesting and creative examples of how different places have managed to address these challenges and grow successful digital economies in smaller places?
Thanks for making the question. This is really intriguing because it was actually a very good point, which was just mentioned here, that actually digital economy is nowadays everywhere. So it's actually not that possible anymore to distinguish between traditional and new digital companies. So then it's ultimately about people and humans and how we can really build the trust and the community between SMEs, entrepreneurs, investors, public sector, so that they all come together. Like, of course, everybody's coming from their own approaches, own perspectives, but that's what we've done here in Tampere, because we believe that in a bit smaller cities, it's easier to make the social capital and get people together. And even, of course, now through the digital era, I'm even joining your community here from Tampere, Finland. So this is the thing what we have done actually in Tampere, that we have made a joint new effort to build a joint community for everybody. So it's not exclusive only for entrepreneurs or only exclusive for public sector people, but everybody. So we call it actually Tribe Tampere. And I'm very happy to hear that you have IoT Tribe in Barnsley. So I suppose we already have a similar mentality in there. So when bringing people into grassroots level together, circulating ideas that everybody knows each other. So even in the digital era, I suppose that we really need the trust between the people that the innovation and the growth can really happen.
Great, thanks, Tommy. So it's a lot about community and people. You talked a lot there about community and people. You named a lot of different stakeholders who you believe are important in terms of our city's ability to grow an economy like this. So Joda, as a small business owner who's been in the DMC, I think for 3 or 4, maybe longer years, what do you look for when you're looking for a workspace or a hub in your town and city? What are the most important elements of this kind of economic makeup for you?
Well, what we had when we moved into the DMC was on-site support. And that helps us create that network of knowledge. So startups generally know their trade very well, but they've got a lot of holes in their knowledge as far as business is concerned and things like digital skills. So you need people on site that are regularly there to be giving coaching, being able to watch video tutorials, mentoring. But that does mean that you have to constantly have people that are up to date on their knowledge. This is not as simple as some of the other business skills. The digital stuff is constantly changing. So we need the people that know the advanced stuff as well as the basics. And those people won't come for a teacher's or a business advisor salary. We have to acknowledge that the skills that are needed are specialist, they're expensive, but they are high value. And if we can have these advanced skills constantly being updated and then that knowledge being shared amongst startups and being able to go in and have a talk or have a bit of mentoring or watch a video that's been recorded, that's what they need. They literally need a hub of knowledge.
Great, thank you. So a hub of knowledge, community, expertise, people, community. We're coming back to this idea of the people being the most important thing, and even though we're launching a great, big and amazing building this evening. So Tanya, coming to you and maybe changing slightly the topic of conversation here. So Barnsley's a sort of post-industrial economy. Do you think that smaller cities with established industries like Barnsley's might actually have any advantages? And can they drive the market? Can they actually make a market in some ways and act as brokers?
I think some large cities clearly have some advantages over smaller ones. You have greater talent pools, you have access to established investors and events pretty much for any day of the week, although of course COVID has really put a stop to many of those advantages and showed that the having to be physically present is not necessarily a precondition for relationships, at least to be established, although I would definitely still argue that face-to-face interaction is really, really important in business, and the creation of a trusted relationship does not really happen necessarily over Zoom. You have to be able to be in a room mingling with people. But Smaller cities can also have some advantages over larger ones. Cost of living, very definitely. The ease of making connections, getting introductions, the ability to make founders welcome, that should not be underestimated. Being a founder is a lonely business. You have to be continuously making decisions on your feet. You have to be continuously sourcing new opportunities, evaluating what you do spend your time on and what you don't. If you don't have to worry about certain things, so for example, talent, I would argue that talent is more loyal in places where the talent pool isn't as large, perhaps, and people are not just always looking for the next bigger paycheck. There's also, as a rule, that smaller cities are hungrier for technology. So, you know, what you were saying about perhaps some more established businesses wanting to find collaborations there on the technology side. I think that's definitely something that smaller cities can help broker. And let's not forget, smaller cities tend to have a more complete offer for supporting business growth in very many business directions. Yoda mentioned, for example, mentoring, offering access to training. I think the council also referred to, you know, the many resources that Barnsley has put into DMC to make that a thriving community. And I think Tommy also put on the table the importance of bringing into the community more than just the business side of things, but bringing all sorts of different players. And I think that's where the DMC has done things particularly well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, if we think about Barnsley as a place and the DMC1 and DMC2 now, I think we can all agree that the sense of community that's been created there is pretty much unrivaled in my experience of working with towns and cities this size. And I think one of the things that DMC is really keen to do moving forward is to think about how it can be, what sort of offer it can make to establish an inclusive economy in Barnsley so that everyone can actually have a slice of the cake and it isn't just being shared by people who would probably get the cake anyway. And one of the things, this is something that's very close to my heart, the inclusion agenda. One of the things I think is going to be really, really important moving forward is to engage different communities in Barnsley and maybe work with different organisations, do some outreach work to bring different businesses, different individuals who maybe haven't thought about entrepreneurship or business for themselves before, but actually now, more than ever, in a COVID environment, have an opportunity to start something new and to create to themselves a positive economic future. So that's something I really, really hope that the DMC will be able to do moving forward. So I'm going to come round once again and ask you each, if you don't mind, to think about maybe one piece of advice that you would give to the DMC2 team as they move forward with this amazing new building, creating a new community, a different community, and a community that's aligned with DMC. What would be your one piece of advice for the DMC2 team? So this time I'm going to come to Joda first, if that's okay.
I would suggest not trying to make it a replica of something that already exists, but this is about an extension. So this is a sequel, so it should be bigger and better. So I would gather the feedback and listen to what tenants are already saying and make sure that that is the starting point for the new plans.
Brilliant, thank you, Joda. And now to Tim, what would your advice be for the DMC2 team?
I mean, the idea of being a flag waver, I think, is important, and not just that idea of the inclusive economy being smaller towns, you know, sharing in what the cities have had, but also in really penetrating out into the communities in a place like Barnsley. You know, so everybody's sharing that wealth, and not just the economic wealth, of course, but as Joda rightly says, the knowledge and skills wealth, and the opportunity wealth, and really to do that, I mean, here's a piece of advice: never stop asking the question, who else should be in the room?
Yeah, nice. I like that. Thank you. And Tommy, to you next.
This is a great opportunity for me to suggest a few things for you. So as it was part of the discussion here before, so definitely I would say that you should build on your strengths, have the courage to be different, because nobody wants to have just more just like one more business hub which has been there already. So make a place where people can grow their own roots. It was mentioned here as well that in smaller cities, people might be more loyal into the region to have the roots in their community, so that DMC would be like a home for these people, because then they would give their everything. And this is my concrete example for you, maybe that one way to do it might be that you would have some funding which would be unallocated, so that you wouldn't be having a top-down approach right away, that you would have designed everything perfectly, but you would leave some funding unallocated so that people who are coming there to work together, so that they could make some of those projects, whether it's about the decoration or whether it's about some innovation project, but you would give the belongingness and ownership also for the people, and they could take over. So then I think that nobody can beat you, and we would be really happy to connect with you in that community level.
Thank you, Tommy. And finally to Tanya, your one piece of advice for the DMC2 team.
I've got two. So first of all, to quote Yoda, smaller in number we are, but larger in mind. The DMC has already achieved wonderful things, learning from global best practice while retaining its unique identity. So, for example, we had a Singapore delegation come over last year. There have been many connections made through the Tech Town team and an initiative. And I think that is something that the DMC team generally do really, really well. They identify things that where they can share not just what they do well, but also learn from what others are doing. And they seem to be able to be ahead of the game by making those connections and ensuring those relationships last over a period of time. My second is a bit more light-hearted, and that would be to make sure that Tracy's always supplied with Julie's wonderful coffee. Your lives will be absolutely a lot easier. Thank you.
Good, I like that one very much. So if I could just conclude, I think what everyone's saying today is that Barnsley's achieved some great things, and we all believe that Barnsley will continue to achieve great things through DMC2. I think in terms of advice, community should always be at the heart. I love the idea of wealth opportunity and sharing that wealth opportunity around different communities within Barnsley. There's a strong message, keep doing what you're doing. It's been successful so far, so if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. But also keep listening, stay curious, keep asking questions, keep going into different networks, new networks, both locally, nationally, and internationally. And then I think people were kind of saying, well, Yoda in particular, keep iterating, keep testing, trying new things, and keep learning, so that you're always at the sort of forefront of what's needed from the businesses that you house. So I think we're kind of out of time, but thanks very much to my panelists, to Tim, to Tommy, to Yoda, to Tanya, and thank you from myself, and lots of luck with the DMC2.
We're driven by creating a business community in Barnsley and wider. So we've developed this space in order to push those connections and bring people together, and that's why we've got this new co-working area in DMC02. It's a fresh and modern space with connectivity at the design of it really. You can turn up, grab a seat, we've got coffee, and whether you're designing, coming in to use the Maker Lab that's part of the package of being in DMC2, or whether you just want to kind of get your head down and get some work done, hopefully you'll meet new people, and those collaborations with different businesses and different people can really kick off here at DMC. So we've got different levels of membership on offer. You can be part of the DMC community. On top of that, you can come in whether it's a random day, you can pay for 10 days a month, you can pay for unlimited access. Whatever you need, we can offer it at DMC.
The Maker Lab is a fantastic space we've got coming through. We've got some amazing equipment coming right the way through, from your traditional, what you'd expect in a makerspace of 3D printers, soldering irons, things like that, right the way through to CNC machines, high level and high volume and rapid print 3D printers as well, and any other kit you can think of to have a tinker and a play around and try to create something really cool, new and exciting. Every floor has got a breakout space on it. It's also got a meeting room for the clients and a kitchenette for every floor as well. The spaces we've got are fantastic for a growing company. We can have any combinations of desk in there you need. It's been designed so there's plenty of power and data wherever you want to put your desks, either through wired or through Wi-Fi. There's super fast broadband into the building, so you're going to be connected at high speeds at all times. And it's all really nice, bright, natural daylight coming through huge windows, and then also intelligent lighting to make sure everyone's working in a comfortable environment all the time.
So the Maker Lab here at DMC 02 fits into a kind of a hub of maker spaces really that Barnsley have to offer. Here we've got a brilliant space that we can use for people in Barnsley who want to start, I don't know, learning a bit more about new skills and making some entrepreneurial things, come and do some courses, or it might just be that you really want to kind of make something and need somewhere to do it. So it's a shared workshop, shared tools, but it's more than just the shared tools. There's lots of other people in here who've got expertise and stories to tell and kind of a helping hand, and it's a really inclusive space for a kind of real collaborative working, really welcoming and just a great place to be.
Barnsley's Digital Media Centre is expanding. Following significant growth over the last 3 years, we now have a second Digital Media Centre, DMC 02. This is going to be a fantastic place for local digital businesses to expand, for young talent to be nurtured and developed, and for the whole economic position of Barnsley to be changed. It's a real opportunity for everyone, whether you're in business or coming through college or university, to adapt to the modern world and all that it brings. As part of the Scene, which is an innovation campus right across this part of town, we're expanding Barnsley's businesses and Barnsley's opportunities, and we want everyone to be a part of it. So if you're in digital business, if you're an entrepreneur or a young person with talent, come and join us, because this is the right place for you.
I'm here at DMC2, part of the expanded digital campus right at the heart of Barnsley's town centre. This new campus has an especially apt name, The Scene. It's so named because this campus brings together the public and private sector. And it's also a powerful reminder of Barnsley's proud mining and textile manufacturing heritage. Generations of Barnsley miners toiled at the coal seams beneath our feet, powering our country and keeping the lights on in homes the length and breadth of Britain. I'm proud to have put over £2 million in local growth fund resources into DMC2 to support new opportunities for digital businesses to start up, to grow and to thrive, and making a vital contribution to developing a stronger, greener and fairer economy for all of South Yorkshire.